how do you actually just start?
In all the ways that I need to be me, is the fence to
Have you heard the inspiring, uplifting advice from other creators, other online business owners to just start? And you got to that exciting point and you took that very first step. And now you're like, now what? Where do I go from here? I know exactly what that feels like. Before I started this YouTube channel 1 year ago with various different deviations, but everything always deriving from the hub of my philosophy and vision. Before that, I had started so many times. I worked with myself a lot. I would say I did that since I were a kid. No, I always felt this feeling like if I'm scared of something, I need to challenge that fear because I don't want to let anything hold me back. So in that way, I appreciate me for having that ability developed to push through fears. But the very same approach and action also unconsciously fueled my program, my subconscious programs, building, expanding my self-image of having traits of a person that doesn't finish anything or doesn't really get anywhere. So yes, I have been in the past great at starting things, but I've also faced the struggles and the frustration and overwhelm and the sense of feeling almost like a failure for not knowing which next step to take. So therefore, in this conversation, I'm going to provide you 3 tips that I wish I could give myself. The past version of myself 1 year ago, or even probably further than that. The previous version of me, if I could travel, 10 years back in time, I would have saved so much time. But yet, without my trial and errors and the journey, I wouldn't be here having those valuable tips, according to me, to provide to you. And they are 3 components, 3 essentials that I wish that I had, and therefore I want to give them to you. If this can help you in any way, nothing would make me happier. And the first one is, sorry, I'm at the wrong page in my notebook. Let me get to the right page. Yeah. Just starting. The one thing that helped me continue after the start was not until I made a commitment goal. Before that, I was very unclear on which direction. I know that I wanted all of the directions. So if I started in this direction, then I often found myself in that direction, taking a new decision to just start. But by then setting a commitment goal, It gave me clarity, not clarity on the niche, not clarity on the exact steps, but clarity on what to do next. And my commitment goal for the first season, for this channel, for this brand, for this business hub, passion-led business hub, LCS Limitless Creator Spirit, the commitment goal was 52 videos in 1 year on YouTube. And the power with my commitment goal for me was even on the days where, the flow of inspiration were blocked, where I didn't feel like it, where I felt like I have no idea what to do. The commitment goal created a space on its own, a space for me to visit and show up in. And once I entered that space, inspiration 9 times out of 10, or maybe 99 times out of 100, came to me. And even the few times where I did my recording, felt like crap afterward, felt like crap editing it, I was like, yeah, but this is just one step in a much, much longer journey. A journey that I will not quit, because it's not about the destination, it's about enjoying the journey while going places. Looking down at my notes here, I actually bought this new journal yesterday. I really like the coloring and the pretty little flowers. Yes. And in the beginning of my commitment goal, I heard everybody talking about focus, clarity, and I did and still do understand the value of it, but yet I find it so hard to niching down. I didn't want to niche down. Sorry, my nose. I didn't want to niche down. I didn't want to pick and craft my personal brand. Sometimes I did because it inspired me, but 1 week in with those colors and those fonts, I felt like, yeah, but now I want to do it more like this instead. Because the thing is, I have never, ever liked the conceptual idea of identity. I always felt resistance as a kid, as a young teenager, when somebody told me to describe myself with 3 words. And I had no trouble if someone would say, okay, tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you like to do? Then I could describe that, because it's not who I am. It's just things that I do. And when I got older, I remember when we had this free newspaper in the metro in Stockholm. And always when there was like an interview, when the reporter had interviewed a couple of people regarding, it could be whatever topic, like, what do you like to eat on Fridays? Or where do you buy your shoes? Or what is your favorite TV show? And they always, after the name, stated the title, the working title, and the age. And I was like, but if this is not a question regarding a work situation, why does it matter what occupation they have? So I say that to give you hopefully, another perspective on yourself. Because according to my truth, you are an infinite being with infinite dimensions. You are a creator being having this human experience. And for this human experience, you have your body, mind, vehicle, which people often refers to as your identity. How you look, what you do, your habits, etc. That is the container of an identity. But first of all, we can change that identity how many times we want. But it takes work, yes. Secondly, you are not defined by that identity. Your true self is within and beyond that version of you. And so I wanted to mention that because I struggle a lot with mixing up the concepts of focus and clarity with picking a lane, picking an identity. And I think there is a very, very important distinction, but that distinction is very, hard to detect sometimes. So I started more and more leaning to, okay, maybe because I wanted and still want to build my business. I want to inspire other creators to start online, to start and create an alternative lifestyle, a lifestyle as the glitch from the simulation of the Matrix that we inherited with all its conceptual norms. And that is my, passion, my vision, my mission. But also, of course, I want to make money in order to show you that it's possible, but also in order for me to not have to focus on money so that I can put my energy to serving you guys. So I was like, yeah, maybe it would be a good idea to create that offer of mine. But still, I was like, yeah, but I don't want to. I mean, everything relates, everything expands on each other. Just give me 1 second here. Okay, God bless me. So I actually created some offers, some digital products, and they are pretty much sitting on my hard drive, not because I don't think they are valuable or not good enough, but because I'm constantly moving on around on which should be my next step. And so what I did, and that is when I received this message from the universe or from my infinite self, inner self, I saw it as a hub. I wanted to do YouTube because YouTube for me is a platform that I love to be on. I think there is so much good, educational, inspirational, entertainment from other creators out there. But for me, YouTube represents something more than that. It represents the desire. I do think that we all in some way have to express ourselves, to experience this gift of life through our true selves, through our true selves, meaning that the body, the mind, the equipment, the vehicle is here to support us in that experience. But many of us, and I used to do too, identify more with the vehicle than the unidentifiable self. So just let me see here. Yeah, and so what I did was to start my YouTube, my first channel. I call it the hub of vision, the vision hub, the well hub, the philosophy hub. And it's representing a space where everything that has to do with my creative desire has its room here. And that was so important to me, to not feel like I am just changing one identity, one grind to another. The whole purpose for me to go online, to chase my dreams online through the medium of the online space was not the results, the income, the time freedom. They are the images of the true result, to live life not only on my terms, but also in a way so that it feels good, that I'm actually serving as the being beyond the human, that I'm serving not only through the shell, the body-mind shell of Emma, but the true energy inside of that shell. So if you're thinking about starting and you have taken that very first important step, first of all, congratulations. Take a moment to celebrate yourself. I think we don't do that enough. This is just as much for you as for me. I need to remind myself to celebrate the wins, the steps. Always look for the blessing, but always also look for the growth, and celebrate the tapping into the gifts that comes from us actually doing scared, but doing from a place of alignment. So, but if you find yourself in this season that you have started, but you don't know where to go from here, I really think that commitment goals are the things that will help you show up for this decision again and again and again. And it will help you show up without you having to know how the dots, how the steps connects, you don't need to know the how. The commitment goal, its true power is not the goal itself. It's the liberation from the outcome and the focus on the next tip that I think is so important and valuable, and that is to focus on the input. Focus on what you can do. I mean, since I am a true believer that everything you can imagine, you can create, you can manifest. And I think it's very important to always have a link connected to that reality, to that truth. But still, but still you are living, you're experiencing this physical reality, this physical dimension with its limitations. You are limited in a way to your physical form, to how your mind works, but you can update your mind, you can upgrade your mind, you can also upgrade your body as well, of course. But I think, and the trap that I see for many people that have waken up to the reality that another way of living is possible, yet many of us have those programs so deep ingrained in our subconscious mind, and that data, as long as it's still there, will continue to create those blocks that are tapping the portals for spiritual flow to enter. And it also are the blockages that manifest old results based on your old identity. Even if you are not an identity, your subconscious mind holds those identities for you. And if we know that everything we want is possible, and when we see that, when we find that within ourselves, we know it to be true. It's a sensation. It's a feeling that words cannot describe. But what the mind does, the ego mind identity does, is this is my theory. Since that sensation is so strong because it comes from the source of the truth, your mind cannot reject it because it's too strong. So what does the mind do to keep its authority? It's not trying to resist this new dimensions of truth, but rather to copy it. And this happens often without us even knowing it. So if you started your business, you started your YouTube channel, or started to post on Instagram or whatever platform you choose as the medium to express your spirit and your dreams, but you're still chasing the results. You are still letting the vanity metrics, the likes, the subscribers, or the lack of them to drag you down to this negative state of mind. And one way to dissolve those blockages is to actually focus on the input, because I do believe that manifestation, and when I say manifestation in this context, I mean manifesting the things that you want to manifest. The truth is, we are always manifesting. Manifesting is just another word for you attracting the emotions and thoughts and the actions you are sending out. That is what you attract. So if you are having negative emotions, that is what you will attract in terms of results, etc. But in terms of manifesting the things that we want, I know that many people that consider themselves to have awakened a lot when it comes to discovering their spirituality, their true selves, still struggles for manifestation. And I think it's due to the blockages that we have, the blockages that are addicted to things, to outcomes, to identities, to, being able to sort and order things into different categories. So when you want to have your first 1,000 subscribers, you want it so much that it almost becomes this, it's this, the desire becomes a must. You become attached to a specific outcome, and that is the very blockage that keeps you from attracting it. And I say this to say, because I know that this sounds very paradoxical, but in order to manifest what you want, you need to detach yourself from needing that outcome. I think that is so true. And the distinction is, we can want to have things, and when we feel that desire makes us feel serene, joy, happy, all the positive feelings, then that desire is not shadowed by your sneaky ego mind. But when you start to feel the sense of, I need to have this, it needs to happen faster, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? That is the negative sneaking in, attaching to an outcome that you are actually postponing. So my tip is to focus on the input. And not only focus on the input in order to compound the steps, but also to remember to enjoy the journey by being present in the now. Okay, I want to be comfortable on camera. I want to be able to make sense on camera. I want to be good at editing. But right now I'm here. I just started. Okay, fine. You allow the things you want to gain, the talents and abilities that you want to gain by moving towards them, taking action towards them. But you can liberate yourself from letting that become another frustration, another thing that you haven't achieved yet. So if you have your commitment goal and you focus on the input, focus on, okay, what can I do with today's circumstances? The time that I got today, the energy that I got today, and also remember to direct your mind to put in the intention. Because I have noticed this in myself. If I am not aware, if I'm not on my, if I don't remind myself that I have an ego mind, it sneaks in on me. So sometimes I do things and I press record because I have my commitment goal. And before the camera goes on, I'm like, oh, I don't feel like doing this, but I need to do this. And even if when I enter the stage that I view as the medium to tap into myself, that often shifts. But I think that before we create something, actually, use our power to construct and direct our thoughts. Like, okay, I'm going to record this. I have no idea what to talk about today, for example, but I love doing this. Or maybe I will come up with something that I haven't even discovered or considered yet, just by me showing up for myself, showing up as myself. So focus on the input rather than the outcome. And by not focusing on the outcome, you are detaching from the must. You are detaching from you having to have something in order to feel good, to feel successful, to feel that you enjoy life. And for the commitment goal, my recommendation is to decide on a season. That could be 12 weeks, 3 months, and 1 year. My first season was 52 weeks, 1 year. But now I have moved to my commitment goal will actually continue to be 1 year and 1 year again and 1 year again. And I just want to say this. When it comes to my battery went out, but we're back. So when it comes to focusing on the commitment goal, I want to encourage you to connect it to your no matter what why. I think that you can have different goals. Of course you can. But having different goals for different seasons is a very good way to remind yourself that you are allowed to do whatever you want. You don't have to pick a niche, you don't have to pick a lane, you don't have to pick an identity. But in order for you to see some traction and to help yourself to actually reach one destination, one goal, I like to view it as a season. And my commitment goal, 1 video per year, is in a way a season, but my seasonal number is 12. 12 weeks, meaning 12 episodes, 1 episode per week. And also for that so-called season, I like to think that we are allowed to create series and shows. And if you're someone who also struggle with not wanting to pick, but still want to gain the benefit of actually feeling that you have accomplished something, based on the input, it's very good to set that goal of that magic number of yours. Mine is 12. You feel free to borrow it. So if you have a YouTube channel but don't know where you are going with it, or you want to start a YouTube channel, start by identifying, there we have the word, but to discover themes and topics that relate to each other in some way, but more that they relate to each other for you emotionally. It doesn't have to be obvious for the audience. That is your permission slip to align with your creative freedom. But we also need the creative focus. And for creative focus, it's very good to set frames. Think of it as a canvas that you paint. Just because you choose to paint with blue colors doesn't mean that the next painting has to look the same. You can use pink if you want. And if you leverage those double approaches at the same time, the vision approach. I'm sitting like this because my camera is like dropping. So I'm but if you leverage the zoom in, zoom out perspective, which allows you parallel goals at the same time without being too overwhelmed, you have your vision hub, is where all your creative ideas derive from and where you go to step into them. And since it's coming from you, they all relate in some way. Maybe you haven't figured out yet how to clearly provide that to the audience, to the future clients. But in order to actually get some conceptual results, I recommend you to think in seasons or series. So let's say that you want to build your business about mindset and health. That is very vague. So, and it has the potential of infinite different topics that, can relate to each other. And I want you to have that creative joy, But in order for you to actually also provide something more tangible with clarity, create signature series. So let's say one signature series for that main vision hub could be the mindset diet. You are talking about losing weight. That is the Northern Star for that series, the specific topic, but it also relates to your passion for health and mindset work. And I heard this incredible creator, Omar Dekory. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And if you are viewing this, I'm just kidding. You are not. I'm sorry, but I just want to credit you because I heard you say this, and this really stuck with me. When he was starting his podcast on YouTube, he said, I will do this until Jesus shows up again. I will do this until Jesus returns. And that is no matter what statement. Even if you starting YouTube because you want to build your brand, that is a goal, a beautiful goal. But to tie that to something bigger, it could be, I love to develop and gain new skills and talents. And YouTube for me is such a great stage to show up for myself, to document my journey, to allow myself to be creative in all areas of life. And I will do this until Jesus returns, or until, something that has no deadline. And then within that statement, you can have different commitment goals and different signature series. So maybe your first signature series will be about how you're starting a YouTube channel and building your personal brand online. And then you can also have your no matter what sub statement, which can be, I'm doing this for myself because I want to be a better speaker. I want to be a better communicator. That is something that you don't have to announce to the audience. Maybe you do. I believe in the anti-gatekeeping, to be authentic. And authentic for me doesn't mean deciding on how you should show up in the perception of others and showing that at all costs. It's about showing what you are currently experiencing in this very given specific present moment. Because it's only through the present moment that we can truly align with the infinite and our true selves. And that is, and expressing that, showing that is being authentic. But find your no matter what statement. There is also this saying, I think this is beautiful as well. And I love the reframing of the statement or the question. If you knew it would be a success, what would you do? But this reframing, I think, is even more powerful. If you knew that it will not generate money, would be a guarantee, what would you still do? And I'm not saying that you should build your business around that, but find your unique why to pull from that into the business that you are building to earn money. And so these were the 3 tips. Commitment goal first, to give you clarity on consistency. Clarity and consistency rather than exactly what step, but you will do this. You will find a way to do this. You will show up for yourself. Focus on the input rather than the end result. Detach yourself from the need of a specific outcome. Because when you do, you liberate yourself from the ego mind identity. And when you do that, you dissolve the blockages the ego mind identity creates. And when you dissolve those blockages, you will be able to start to manifest and move in the direction without the blockages. And the third tip is to connect it to your until Jesus returns statement. Your no matter what, why. But I will also put in a little bonus. I'm just kidding. But I will also put in this. Take responsibility over what you're consuming. That means social media, the people that you hang around with. And I know that many of us can feel like the people we love the most, the people we hang out with, they don't understand us. They don't understand our dream. And maybe sometimes we are just projecting our own perception of what we think that they are thinking about us. But anyway, but I really encourage you to find other people, other creators that not necessarily have achieved what you want to achieve. I think the more important part is the guides and coaches that helps you connect with your why, helps you connect with your emotional alignment. If you are watching this video and you feel like it resonates, and I'm not just saying like, okay, it made sense. If you feel like, yeah, oh my God, this gave me so much, or another creator, make sure to subscribe to them, save their videos, listen to them again, go to that place whenever you feel like you are drifting away, you are letting all the negative emotions passing, then make sure you have your own crafted inner circle. It can be online, it can be people you know. Join communities. Also, as just a little circumstance, I've just started my Substack. I've said that for a whole lot of weeks now. I just started Substack. The truth is, I created the account many months ago. Sorry. No. Okay. I thought I needed to sneeze. Okay, it's still here. But I am just starting building my Substack. And that is a community, and feel free to subscribe there. I would love to see us creator who wants an alternative lifestyle, and by creating that, understand the power of living the so-called time, doing what we love, doing what we find meaningful and valuable, by doing so starting an alternative business and make an alternative income. Join the Substack, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next episode.
In all the ways that I need to be me, is the fence to your company. Build you a castle and you will find what is thought before you tear it all down. Really thought that we had gotten somewhere, but spoke my mind and it disappeared. The band that I thought we had built, but your relationships all depend on guilt. Who did what and why do they owe?